it's Tucked In Tuesday. I got a different background, you know. I'm with Gayle, and those of you that have been following, this is our third week.
Yeah.
And so we have, I don't know where Dallas is, but she was here. Oh, there she is. She doesn't like me to pick her up. I tried. But very sweet. She's got a little cough today. Maybe we'll find out in the book why she's coughing. Well, hi, Dallas. We're here to do you have anything you want to say?
Say I had to go to the doctor.
Oh, but it's okay.
Yeah, I just got some medicine.
Okay.
And we'll be fine in a day to have a sore throat.
Oh, no. Look up. Oh, do you feel okay?
See, I'm going to go take a power nap.
You can take a nap. All right, Dallas. Well, wouldn't be a book without you, Dallas.
That's right.
So we're on chapter 7. Chapter 7. So let me ask you. So do you think I'll be surprised tonight?
Let me see the title.
I start on chapter 7.
It's going to be fun.
Every time I read it, I'm like, this is different. So, hi, Genesis. That's one of my former scholars.
Hi there.
Hi, Genesis. She watches on YouTube. So, Coyote Aztec. So, Coyote, I know what that is. Mm-hmm. Aztec, I think, I don't know.
Okay, that's the name of the coyote.
Oh.
And he is the chief coyote on the mountain where they camp.
Oh.
So they're about to meet Coyote Aztec.
Oh, my goodness. Well, Ava, Ari, and Pop Pop, and Miss Gayle, you even got a hello.
Hi there. How are you?
They tune in all the time.
I'm so glad y'all are here.
Hello, Ollie. And I know that Ollie, I can't remember the name, but I know there's a child with Ollie. They didn't type the name in, but I'm pretty sure there's a child with Ollie. So we're going to be reading about a coyote. You're pacing back and forth. Is this chapter scary to you guys? No? We'll see. So listen, Felix interrupted my thoughts just as the sun was setting and I was about to go to sleep. I listened and was startled by what I heard. The coyotes were howling from clear across Ink's Lake. Lacey the cat had been keeping to herself most of the time and was acting quite smug. When the coyote started, however, she ran for the cover of her pup family. Mercy sakes alive, Felix. What is that piercing howl? I asked, looking around for Coco. Coco, I called to her. Come near to me and don't leave my side. Poor Coco was scared to death. She's a city dog and hadn't heard coyotes howl before. I like to read the notes. Doing very well, thank you. The grandchildren are in, is that Qatar? Qatar? Qatar. Oh, my goodness. That's pretty far.
Across the ocean.
Yeah. Well, thank you for tuning in, Ollie. I saw King looking alarmed and asked, what's going on? Are they coming for us? King gathered everyone under the big house porch and told us not to move. And for goodness sake, no barking or whimpering, he added, eyeing Foxy and the rest of the Fab 14. Then King ordered us to stay put while he crept out from under the big house and down to the edge of the lake very quietly. There he listened and looked for a really long time. The howling began again, this time along with even more howls. There must have been a dozen coyotes now all singing together in what sounded like a concert. Then it got dead quiet before King belted out his deepest meanings growl and return that sounded very similar to the howls of the coyotes. Felix explained that when coyotes howl, they are marking their territory. They're basically saying that this is their spot and don't come near. I suppose King was doing the same thing by the way he was growling and howling. Whatever King was doing sounded pretty impressive to me. He already told us a story the other night about an encounter he had a few years back with the young coyote across the lake. King had decided to swim across the lake to find some young rabbits for dinner, but he had came face to face with a pack of coyotes instead as he climbed onto the shore on the other side. They surrounded King, and although he was terrified, he never let on that he was scared. He stood his ground. Let me see the coyote in charge, King had asked the group. Well, I wouldn't ask for coyote in charge if I was already afraid, but we got a brave one here. Here we go. She said, yes, grandchildren are too far.
Oh.
And Stacy, love y'all. Me and Cameron are here. We love the book and have been listening.
Thank you.
Hello, Stacy and Cameron, I believe was his name.
Yes.
That's his name. Yes. You asked, a big coyote known as Aztec pranced out of the pack and came right up to King. You asked to see me, he asked, cocking his head to the side in a sly manner. King had answered with his bravest voice, yes, I did. I have come in peace to find food for my friends across the lake. Well, I love how he changed his tune and said, I come in peace. As luck would have it, rabbits have been extremely plentiful that season. So Aztec told King he could have whatever he needed this time, but he should never swim back across the lake to their side again, as that was coyote territory. Aztec and King then growled a sound only the two of them understood that night. Then King returned across the lake with a couple of rabbits in his mouth and hadn't gone back there in years. So, well, hello. Hi, Liv and HB.
Yes.
Love your book.
Hi there. Glad y'all are here.
And if you can put where you're listening from so Gayle can see how far her book has reached.
That would be good. I know where they are.
That's your daughter? Your daughter?
That's a good friend. They're in Bernie.
Oh, wow. Bernie, Texas?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Well, you're such a nice friend. There's the first one to respond.
See? There you
Bernie,
go.
I always thought that was Bernie.
Bernie. Uh-huh.
Well, look, I learned something new
There
every
you
night.
go.
And we'll leave that heart up there.
Aww.
As we listened to the coyotes howl, all the pups snuggled close to each other, waiting and listening for what seemed an eternity for King to return. Straining to hear, we recognized King's voice, followed by a single coyote howl as the two of them howled back and forth on the other side of the lake. It was as if they were talking to each other and taking turns howling in response. Was it old Aztec he was talking to? I don't know. Soon King was back under the porch with all of us terrified pups. Willows was the first to pipe up. King, what was all that about? We're scared. All those coyotes going to come and eat us for dinner. In his calm voice, old King began telling us the rest of the story. All those years ago, he had promised Aztec that he would never return across the lake into coyote territory. All the howling tonight was just King and Aztec remembering old times and the promises they had made to stay out of each other's territories. As I thought about that, it reminded me of something my mama once taught me. When you make a promise to someone, you always keep your word. You always do the right thing. Friends forever. Old King and Aztec. But that friendship would be tested later in the summer. Oh, my goodness. New York and Tampa. That's where they're listening.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
And hello from London.
No way.
That's Kylie. Remember I told you about my friend Kylie?
Yes.
That's Kylie.
I have a nephew living in London right now.
Oh, Kylie, what time is it there? It's a little delayed, but she'll answer. New York, Tampa, born Texas, and London.
That's
You're international.
Amazing. That's awesome.
That easily, you're international. Put that on your resume.
I will. I will.
So it's 1:38 a.m.
Wow. I'm impressed that you're up.
I know why Kylie's up. Good morning, Kylie, and good night, because we put her to sleep.
Oh.
July 4th, which they don't celebrate there in London.
Really?
Yeah, it's ours.
It's true.
America.
It is ours.
Mm-hmm. It's always a good joke to tell, though.
Well,
I get tripped up every time. That and Thanksgiving. That's not international.
That's
either.
right. That's right.
The date, chapter 8. I don't think I've been telling them the chapter. She says, "I am the night owl."
You are.
The days of summer were passing quickly at Camp Meatloaf. I could hardly believe so much time had passed. Today, Coco and I were hard at work all morning digging holes under the front porch of the big house. Coco's white fur looked solid gray from all the dirt we dug out. And, well, I looked pretty grubby myself. So we headed to the lake for a swim. The good news is that the Camp Meatloaf staff finally found all our luggage from the bus, and now I had the swim goggles my mama packed for me. If I could just get a visual of a dog in goggles. "Dive in, Coco, watch me," I hollered as I tiptoed along the edge of a big root sticking out above the water near the shoreline. Then I tucked my head and dove in. "Come on, it's fun," I encouraged her. Soon Coco got the hang of how to dive, and we were having a great time when I looked up and saw all of the camp kids heading our way for their afternoon swim. Talk about speed dog paddling. Coco and I hurried to the side of the lake and got out of their way. Those kids began jumping on a huge inflatable raft they called the Blob and bouncing each other off of it left and right. I tell you, we got out just in time. I thought the kids were busy making crafts until mid-afternoon, but I suppose I was greatly mistaken. I don't mind sharing the lake with the campers, but I got to learn to tell time. Beaumont, Texas, Genesis. Thank you, Genesis. You're the closest. After a cool nap under some trees, Coco and I caught up to all our other pup friends. Bear asked where we had been all afternoon. Apparently, we missed our chance to run into town with the rest of the cousins and went out and wait outside this really great steakhouse for scraps. It was beyond amazing, Bear added. Seriously, I thought to myself, you didn't wait for me and Coco. What about Lacey the cat? Where was she all this time? As if reading my mind, King said, Lacey is the one who directed us to the steakhouse. Cats do have a very keen sense of smell, Lacey reminded me and grinned. She had no trouble at all finding the best place in town to hang out for scraps. Well, thanks a lot for sharing with me and Coco, I muttered to myself. The other night, the camp chef had tossed out all sorts of incredible leftovers. It was a feast of pizza crust, cheese bread, and that delicious cinnamon sugar crust with butter. Where's that? Oh, there you are. Do you want to get back in?
Yeah, good.
The other night, the camp chef had tossed out all sorts of incredible leftovers. It was a feast of, that's what I get for looking away. It was a feast of pizza crust, cheese bread, and a delicious cinnamon sugar crust with butter. Those crazy kids must be out of their minds to leave even one crumb of the cinnamon sugar crust. It's my very favorite. It was nothing like steak from a steakhouse, but it was all good all the same. All of us pups have started hanging around the back door of the Muskrat Lodge every night to scrounge for our bedtime snacks. Like I say, I'm told Lacey the cat doesn't really have a taste for rat. She just likes to catch them. She's also very clever and really knows how to hide. So I figure things can get very interesting on these outings. Maybe one night she'll catch a big old supply of rats and we can leave them at the back door of the kitchen for the staff. Then we can have our full menu of rat main dishes the rest of the week. Other than my favorite rat meatloaf, we all love rat burgers, fried rat legs, rat soup, rat nachos, and rat tacos. It's like the Bubba dog. You can cook rats so many ways. Oh my goodness. That cat will, I'm not worried at all about Lacey. That cat will always find what she needs to eat. Who knows? Maybe she will develop a taste for pizza bones like us pups by the time camp is over. And those that are joining in for the first time, Liv said gross. Oh, I agree with Liv. That is very gross. Very, very gross. But I have to tell you that are just joining in, pizza bones, that's pizza crust.
That's right.
So just wanted to let you know in case you thought they were eating rat meatloaf and pizza bones. Tonight, there will be a huge bonfire down by the lake for the campers next door to celebrate July 4th. I was sure hoping those kids would toast marshmallows and make s'mores when they were sitting around the fire. There's normally tons of scraps because all those kids drop their marshmallows and graham crackers before they even begin toasting anything. I can hardly wait. The Camp Meatloaf staff was hosting costume night at Muskrat Lodge for all the pup campers that same night. So I dug through my suitcase and found my flannel black and red plaid lumberjack hat, complete with a fleece lining. Mercy knows why that hat had brown antlers sticking out on either side, but that's mom for you. I suppose that was the winning note in her decision to buy this costume for me. Luke asked if he could wear my other green and gold dragon costume that mama had packed for me. Hank's mom had packed him a lobster costume with huge red claws and a bright red tail. Would you believe that I won the costume contest? All the other pup campers barked and cheered when the Camp Meatloaf staff crowned me with a tiny fake diamond tiara. You do not have the costume. She has it. That's why I needed to be here this week.
That's right.
So this is what they were wearing. Oh.
That's the lumberjack hat with the antlers sticking out.
Oh.
And she will really let me put that on. I think we showed it last week with it on her.
Yes, she had it on last week.
And here is the dragon costume. Let's see if I can show you.
Oh,
And I have a picture of her in that wearing it.
So this is pretty much nonfiction, this part.
Yeah, this is nonfiction. Yeah, this is real. This is Dallas's Halloween costumes for a couple of years.
So she's been
a lumberjack,
Lumberjack.
and
Lumberjack dragon?
a dragon.
She's a lumber dragon?
No,
She doesn't wear them together.
no,
Oh, okay.
no. She's a dragon one year, lumberjack another.
They said, oh.
Oh, I thought you'd want to see that.
I did. Yes, thank you for sharing. So they dig out the costume. Mercy knows why the head had brown antlers sticking out on either side, but that's mom for you. I suppose that was the winning note in her decision to buy this costume for me. Luke asked if he could wear my other green and gold dragon costume that mama had packed for me. Hank's mom had packed him a lobster costume with huge red claws and a bright red tail. Would you believe that I won the costume contest? Well, with that, I don't see why not. That's pretty nifty, Dallas. Congratulations. All the other pup campers barked and cheered when the Camp Meatloaf staff crowned me with the tiny fake diamond tiara, which I wore proudly over my lumberjack hat the rest of the night. We were going to have our own July 4th celebration at the lake after the costume contest and had already put up our red and white decorations before it started to get dark. I love nothing better than decorating for a party. I guess I learned that from my mom. She is a real cool people mom. That woman loves to plan a party, and she always has stuff in her hall closet to decorate with. She threw in a few July 4th decorations in my suitcase for the bonfire tonight. Mom even made this long string with ribbons tied onto it, and Hank and I hung it between some tree limbs. Aren't you a nice mom? Hey, Lacey, I called out.
That's in the garage.
That is? You really do have, oh, she really does have it. Hey, Lacey, I called out as the gang made our way to the lake. I sure hope those coyotes across the lake don't decide to make a surprise visit tonight at the campfire. I heard they just love cat meat. Lacey hissed her disapproval. Yikes, Lacey. All you have to do is just stick close to me and especially close to Bear. I said, Bear is even bigger than King, so I knew we'd all be fine. Suddenly I hear a loud pop, 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 bang. That sounds like lightning, I cried. But then I saw sparkly lights illuminating the night sky. My heart froze. Please tell me it's not fireworks. No, those things hurt my ears so bad, and they are scary. Coco was shivering and scared, and Lacey the cat ran up a nearby tree for safety. The Fab 14 were whimpering, and even Luke was covering his ears with his paws. I rolled down my lumberjack hat ear flaps to muffle the noise of the fireworks and yelping pups. But they are sort of pretty with all those colors they create up in the night sky, Hank suggested, still wearing his lobster costume and looking up at the twinkling lights near the campers' bonfire. He was not afraid, but the rest of us were terrified. As Champ, is that him whimpering?
She needs to go out.
Oh, you got to go potty. She's asking to go potty. As camp chairman for the week, I knew I had to do something. Run for the big house, I ordered. We can wait there until the fireworks are over. Just when I thought we were going to have a lovely evening, I grumbled as I ran. It will be midnight now before we can come back and scavenge for s'mores. I ran so fast that my tiara was hanging sideways over my face by the time we safely settled at the big house. Maybe because I'm in here, she's like, but all of us go or nobody moves. I understand, Dallas. I understand. Right. He's protecting.
She'll be fine.
I keep calling her, you're a girl.
Yeah.
Coco asks, why did all the kids like fireworks anyway? I was going to reply with something sarcastic when King, being the wise older pup, spoke up instead. Coco, King explained, we have the celebration each year on July 4th to celebrate the birth of our great country, the United States of America. God bless America. What do you know? I learned something new every day, and tomorrow would be no exception when I encountered a challenge I've never come across before. Oh my goodness. The Bat Colony. And our last chapter for the night, chapter 9. Can't be worse than the coyotes, but Bat Colony implies there's a lot of bats. So let's see. Get up, let's go, I barked to all my friends who were sound asleep under the porch of the big house. It's time to head out to the lake. It was our turn again to swim in Ank's Lake, and we all decided the day before that we would try the 2-story slide called Old Red that goes directly into the water. We'd watch the campers climbing up the tall ladder and sliding right into the water, and it looked like fun. All that was left to figure out was how to get the dogs up that big ladder. Yesterday, I told all the other pup campers that I would go first and show everyone how it was done. Now, why had I said that? Today, that ladder looks way too tall for me, but it's too late to back out now. I hopped carefully onto the first step and nearly lost my balance. Then I got an idea. I just pretended I was climbing the stairs at Felix and Coco's house, something I've done a million times. Careful, careful, Dallas. Don't miss a step. And for goodness sake, don't look down. When I finally reached the top, I hollered, "Come on up, you guys. You can make it." Because he's bad then. She's bad then. But then I turned and looked all the way down that big red slide and almost fainted. I had no idea I was so high up. After concentrating so hard on climbing those steps, I forgot how tall this slide is. Look, me and my big mouth. That's when I realized there was only one way out of this mess that I'd gotten myself into. I got to slide. Yep, I just had to say a quick prayer, jump on all red head first, and do a big old belly flop into the water. I would either look like a complete idiot or the biggest champion at camp. I said a quick prayer. Lord, help me to make it down and not drown. Or pray that next time I get in water. And help me to look like I know what I'm doing. Down I went. Yep. Before, whoosh, I made it into the water with a big splash, and suddenly I was above water. Dog paddle into the shallow end like a world-class seasoned diver. Yes. King Felix, Coco, Bear, Luke, and even Lacey, the cat, ran to meet me as I climbed out of the water and onto the shore. All my dog cousins were giving me 10 paws up, barking wildly in approval and shouting, "Dallas, you're our champ, I gotta tell you." I felt pretty good about my first slide down Old Red, but then I asked who was going next. One by one, they all had their own excuses. "It looked fun when you did it, Dallas," offered Willow. "Oh yeah, I thought it looked like a blast myself," added Bear. But in the end, no one decided to try it themselves. I guess I set the bar too high. Woof, at least I didn't have to slide again anytime soon. Truthfully, I was scared out of my wits going down that thing. I thought it was lights out. Goodbye, Dallas, and goodbye, Dallas Tales, right along with it. Thank you, Lord, for saving me from my bad choices. I prayed that prayer before. He does that sometimes, but we shouldn't put God to be tests like that. We shouldn't. We pups decided to have our own campfire tonight way out near Snaggletooth Rock. This big brown rock in the middle of nowhere has a huge chunk missing out of it and reminds me of a kid missing his 2 front teeth. Every dog around here has been collecting sticks all day to add to the campfire. King says he knows how to start the fire. He's going to put a big piece of paper under the pile of sticks, and I'm supposed to bring the small magnifying glass that I found the other day on the campground. The sun will shine through that magnifying glass onto the paper, King explained to us. Then poof, old buddy, we'll have our campfire. I mean, dogs can't make a fire any other way, can they? I mean, they could have asked for a match, but they didn't know.
They didn't have a way to strike it.
Yeah, you're right. The little paws, that would be hard. You okay down there, Daryl?
She's kind of like got the croup.
Oh.
But she's going to be fine.
And she's wagging that tail. She's happy.
Yeah.
Oh, we got. Oh, how are you doing today? This is Nathan from Indiana.
Oh,
hi,
good.
Nathan. It's good to see you again. How are you doing today? We're doing fine, Nathan. He wanted to make sure we saw it. Hello,
Good.
Nathan. We pups. Oh, we're at the campfire. In the early evening before sunset, we all hiked to Snaggletooth and piled our sticks in a circle on the paper, just like King said to do. We nudged some nearby stones into a ring around the sticks while King brought a mouthful of pine straw to use as kindling. Is it this kindling?
Kindling.
What's kindling?
Kindling is normally little strips of pine.
Oh.
It's called rich lighter pine, and that's what the old timers used to start their fires in the fireplace.
Oh. I held a magnifying glass steady, hoping that the sun will shine just right through the glass to ignite our straw and paper. We waited and waited, and I was getting worried, but then I saw a puff of smoke. Pretty soon, the flames were casting a nice glow. As the camp storyteller, King said he'd tell us a story. King tells the best tales at night, and I just love listening to him. He never had any brothers or sisters, so that's why he's always so excited to come to camp and be with everyone. He waits all year for Camp Meatloaf. Tonight, he told about growing up way out in the country. It was so dark out there where I was living, King explained, that we had to pipe daylight in just to get some light. The trees were big and tall, casting shadows everywhere. I normally started out in the doghouse at night, but I always crept inside after everyone was asleep, pushing on the porch's screen door to let myself in. One bright moonlit night, I was almost asleep when I heard the most gosh awful scream. I jumped so high that I hit the roof of my doghouse. Then I eased out and looked around. Just then, our old born cat raced by so fast I thought her fur was 3 feet behind her. Coco piped up. What was it, King? What in the world was going on? She looked around at all us pups, all scared out of our wits. Put my paw on hers to calm her down. King continued. I tiptoed around the corner of the yard. Went to my shock. I saw the biggest colony of bats I had ever seen hanging on the back porch of my mama's house. I always heard that bats would jump on your back and suck all the blood right from your body. Geez Louise, Hank said, his yellow eyes wide as saucers. I was looking up in the sky above me and imagining a bunch of bats flying right over our heads. Well, those bats looked like they were asleep. So I told myself that maybe if I just barely pushed on the screen door with my nose, I wouldn't disturb them, King recalled. Careful, King, Foxy cried out, all caught up in the moment. Everyone laughed nervously before King continued, and I let Foxy snuggle closer to me. I grabbed the bottom of the door with my paw and started to nudge it with my nose ever so slowly. I thought I'd be inside in no time, but then my paw slipped off the door, and it slammed shut so loud that it woke up every one of those bats. In a split second, those flying devils came swooping down, aiming right for my backside. Help! I'm being attacked and eaten by bats, King cried out. Woof, woof, woof. All his pups started barking and yipping, just thinking about King's predicament. Then King said he remembered the old water tub down by the barn that his mama kept filled with water. He made a run for the tub and jumped right in it, staying underwater for a whole minute. I stayed just long enough to let those blood-sucking bats fly on back to their cave out into the woods, he said. And then I ran for safety inside the house. Whew, that was a close call, Hank said, nodding his head. Great story, King, Poodle Puff added, but she yawned as she said it. We were tired after such a long story, and everyone was ready for bedtime. King stood to his feet and said, Pup friends, it's time to tap out our campfire. But before we go, I think we should nominate Dallas to be our camp chairman again next week. Her slide down old red today convinced me of how courageous she is. And to be chairman, you must be brave. You must also care about one another. Then King looked at me with his soft brown eyes. Dallas, he said, you've proven your friendship by taking such good care of Coco and Foxy during the first few days at Camp Meatloaf. All the dogs stood up and barked their approval. So I guess I'm going to be camp chairman next week too. How could I have known then that it would be the hardest job I've ever had? We got to put this fire out. So pup friends turn around and start digging, King instructed. Sling the dirt into the flames till they go out. We all did exactly what King said before falling asleep and dreaming of bats. What is your favorite part of the chapters I read tonight, 7 through 9, between 7 and 9?
Probably Coyote Aztec.
Because the coyotes across the lake.
Yeah. I like that interplay with the coyotes and to see how they interact with the coyotes and the dogs. Of course, it's totally fictional because in real life, coyotes and dogs cannot be friends or mixed together or any of those things. So it's a lot of fiction with this. Yeah.
Well, my favorite part has to be the slide. Overcoming and climbing to the top of that slide and just that prayer. That was the best prayer ever. Lord, what does it say? Down and drown. I know that.
Help me to make this without drowning and not making a fool of myself or something like that.
Lord, help me to make it down and not drown. Liv said, I like that Dallas is brave.
She is.
Very brave.
Yes.
So we're going to be on chapter 10 when we get back. So I can tell that adventures starting to happen, unexpected adventures. And because we're in the middle of the book, I expect this to be probably the biggest surprise, maybe the biggest.
There's adventures all through.
That's all through. I love that Pop said amen to my prayer.
Oh, thank you, Pop.
It's a nice prayer. So again, I'd like to say Dallas Tales can be purchased on Amazon. She's local here. So if some of you are listening later, she's local. If they're local, where can they get your book? Still Amazon?
Just Amazon.
Just Amazon.
I did have a book signing tonight, and I may have some more in the area, but I'll put those on Facebook when I do.
We need to because we need to know, and I need to go to a book signing because I need you to sign my book.
Yes.
Can't read which every night and not have the Simon book.
That's right.
So we'll be back next week. So I want to say my biggest takeaway, because we always do the takeaway from
Okay.
those 3 chapters, would have to be sometimes things seem worse than what they really are. But if we step back and follow the plan, one step at a time, like he went up, don't look back.
That's right.
Keep going. You'll realize it wasn't as bad. I needed that advice more than anybody today.
Oh.
I needed my own takeaway.
If you're up on that slide, there's only two ways down. You can slide or you can try to creep backwards. And the risk for falling is greater when you're trying to creep backwards down a ladder than just sliding down and taking it.
Just take it.
It's just like the first time I was on a diving board. I was scared to death and I didn't want to jump, but I knew I had to. So I finally did.
Yeah. Well, you got another heart from HB Frizzle.
Oh, good.
And Liv. And we are ready for next week. Got to keep going. What a great takeaway. Yes.
Good.
What would you say your takeaway is this week?
Let me think. I was kind of distracted tonight with the dog.
Yeah, the dog, and she was coughing.
Yeah, she's still coughing a little bit. But I think just the care they gave each other, and when they were afraid, they would all huddle up together and watch out for one another. I think that would probably be my takeaway tonight, because throughout the story, you can see how they care for one another and take care of one another.
Yes, HB Frizzle is trying to, she says dogs do that. And I guess she's telling you don't panic.
Yeah,
she's fine. But thank you for that. So I always say every Tuesday and every single day, if nobody else tells you, Dr. George loves you. You have anything you want to leave them with?
No, I'm just excited that you're joining us. And we have people from London and all over the world. That's interesting.
Yes, Indiana.
Yeah,
Indiana,
New York.
We'll be there next week. Thank you, Stacy.
And right here in Beaumont, Stacy knows me as the cinnamon roll lady. I think we talked about that
yes,
a couple of weeks ago. We were in
rolls.
church together for years.
Oh, she said no one told me today needed that.
Oh,
you can always get love from me, HB, all the time, every time. So I have a confession. So when I saw your dog's costume, let me stand. You see, I have little wings.
Yes. Look there.
I'm a dragon and I have a tail.
Well, I'll be.
I didn't even know that you were. I didn't even know that we were going to be twins. Look, he likes
Look
that.
at there.
She likes it. Look at that.
She's jumping up.
She's.
If you can see.
Yeah,
Let's see.
Can they see?
We're
Look
gonna
at your costume. You want your costume?
See her?
She wants her costume. She said, "That's my costume. That's my costume." Well, guys, this was a fun night. We'll be back next Tuesday, 7:30. We'll decide how we're going to do it. If she'll be at my place, I'll be at her place. Dallas Twinkies. That's what you can call us. They call us Dallas Twinkies. We are. So, guys, remember, 7:30 p.m. Central Time next week. And shut down a job site tonight. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, wow.
All love y'all. I knew Belinda by Miss Maureen Gordon from Westgate, MDO. Oh, okay, Miss Maureen. Yeah, Miss Maureen. She's my sister-in-law's sister. Well, I'll be.
That's neat.
Well, we need to meet, Stacy. There you go. So, guys, if nobody else tells you Dr. George loves you, have a good night. See you next week, 7:30 p.m. Prayers for Dallas. Her little paws. She's sitting there, her little paws like it's enough. So, good night, guys.
Good night. Glad you joined us.